Yo, no maniacs. Welcome to the show. Good morning, you guys. Good afternoon, or whatever you consider 12 o'clock to be during your at your time. But it's morning for me. Welcome to the show one more time, man. Hey, you know what? What's his name? Kevin Warren set the Bears universe on fire.
Ooh, didn't it?
And Jared Payton, man, they set the world on fire, the Bears world on fire, that is. But hey, man, we're gonna get to that here in a minute. But man, Lord, people on Twitter are coping hard. I mean, when I say coping hard, they're trying to find ways to redirect this narrative that's going on because it became pretty obvious what Kevin Warren's thinking. And we're going to get to a couple of clips of Jared Payton's interview with him in Vegas in a minute here. But guys, how you feeling today, man? Before we dig all the way in.
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling really, really good. Had a little, a little bit of a trek yesterday there and back to my guy's place, but I feel good. I knocked out. Man, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, falling asleep at like 8 or 9. So I feel good, well rested. Gonna go give me a little workout, So yeah, feeling good, Papa. Feeling good.
Yeah, I'm feeling good too, my man. Me too. I got me some rest. Get me a little workout in after the show as well. But I'm feeling good. But I'm ready to hit it today.
So, hey, let me start before we go all the way in. I got to send a special shout out and a thank you to everybody that subscribed to the channel.
Yes.
We pushed hard to get to 1K, man, and appreciate Keith in particular because he pulled some strings to get us over 1,000 with some connections that he has, man. And Lord, thank you guys. I never expected us to be this successful this quick. We are less than a year in. And here we are, man. And now we got to reach new plateaus. Gonna blow right past 1,000 and get to the next 1,000 and beyond. And so, just thank you guys again. I can't thank you guys enough for that, man. I really appreciate.
Yes, thank you.
But anybody want to speak to that, man? Before we get all the way in, you can.
I do, especially to all those that I personally reached out to, shared our most recent clips to. Got some great feedback from those as well who had a chance to go and actually watch the clips, man. So they're loving the content, they're loving what we're doing. But I want to send a special thank you out to my people, and you all know who you are. I don't have to throw out no names, but thank you guys. Blessings to you, and hey, I'm excited about this new endeavor. So let's move forward and let's get it going,
sir.
Yeah, you know what? I always want to thank everybody as well. I don't really put my name or associate myself with anybody that I'm not very comfortable with. Part of it's my ego. Part of it is me just being a stubborn head, I guess. But Nomad and I hit it off from Jump Street. All right, from Jump Street, we hit it off. And I realized at some point rather quickly that his football acumen and his football IQ is a little higher than most, a lot higher than most. And, man, we just hit it off. And so, you know what? I'm happy to be working with him for this collaboration with Nomad Network and Sports Zone Chicago. I think it's great, and it's only the beginning. It's only the beginning. There's a lot of content. We give good content, and we try and keep it a buck. Right? We don't really have, we're not trying to sway people one way or the other. We give our opinions. And we don't. The one thing I think I really like is like we don't put other people down. Like you can want Caleb Williams. That's your right. That's your prerogative, right? You can want a certain thing, and that doesn't agree with us, and that's fine. But you know what? You just don't have. You know what? Here we're not acting like sophomoric idiots and calling people names and clowns and you don't know shit and all these other things and just coming at people. I love the vibe here. I love the what we had, what's going on here with this collaboration, and. This is going to be something phenomenal. So thank you guys. 1,000 was the first milestone, but that's it's good. It's going to be a time where we'll be like, man, remember when we were trying to get 1,000? Remember when we tried to get 1,000? It's going to be great because we give you great content. And let me tell you something. We don't take your trust for granted. Okay, we don't do that. It takes a lot for people to take time out of their day to listen to you to us talk. Okay, So the fact that we got 1,000, you know, and the people that follow me as well on Sports Zone Chicago, like we don't take that for granted. We understand your time is something you cannot get back, and we appreciate you listening to us, you supporting us. We truly appreciate it. You don't have to listen to us. There's tons of, there's 1 or 2 other million Chicago Bears shows out there on different podcasts, and you may listen to some, and that's cool. All right, but you don't have to listen to us, and the fact that you choose to do that means a lot to us.
Hey, go ahead, Chris. You got anything?
Well, I wanted to add in the thank yous, man, because you know what, we put a lot of work into this, and so it's just good to see that people appreciate it and they respond to it. And like like Shawn said, listen, that you take time out of your day to listen to us talk, where you know that's an investment from you. So we appreciate that investment, and we're gonna try to continue on and you guys, hey, go over to Sports Zone Chicago, smash that subscribe button, hit your comments, hit your likes, share the the material. Anybody that knows Shawn is like a library, okay, of sports in general and football. So listen, go over there. He's got some great content. Man, his people got great logos. Go, you're gonna love it, man. Go over there and smash his subscribe button, man, because Shawn's our brother, and we want to look out for each other. And I appreciate all you guys being here. And all right, I'm gone.
Well, I got a guy who did some logos for me. So I'm from Chicago, bro. I'm Southside. I got a guy. So
hey, he's a bad boy, man.
Hey, before we wrap up this commentary, I just got to make sure I tell everybody, I said, just thank you for everything. And some of the guys that are not here today, the crew, Ked, Samo, Nick, and even Trips, man, everybody that helped us get to where we are, man. And appreciating Shawn and Keith for coming on with us, collabing, and let's doing this thing. I said a lot, man, but I really feel it inside, man. I think people gravitate to good energy. I really do. I think people with good energy, and since we're talking specific content, what we do, I think it's not hard to tell there's people, between Shawn, Keith, and I, and Chris, and everybody that deals with us, man. We have some pretty good football chops, and I think people sense that, and they know that. You know what I mean? Some of the things that we were talking about yesterday on the show, the title of the show by itself was what Kevin Warren was talking about. You know what I mean? Ooh. That's his whole interview with Jared Payton was about what we were talking about at noon yesterday. So you're talking about being tied in to what is actually going on and using your good judgment to get content out to you guys. We're trying to tie you guys in to what we're thinking that they may be thinking. That's the whole idea. Instead of a whole bunch of virtue signaling about what we think, what we want to happen, let's tie you into what we see and what appears to be the possibilities is the thought, especially when it comes from me. I'm always thinking what I think they may be thinking inside that building. So that's what you hear coming out of my mouth. It's not necessarily what I think about who they should get and what they should do. I'm just telling you what I think they might be doing. And most of the times, can't lie to you, man, I'll be dialed in. Pretty good. So I just want to thank you guys and everybody that helped get us here. And like Shawn said, go over to Sports Zone Chicago and make sure you show him the same kind of love. And we would appreciate that, man.
Hey, man, I think you forgot Tony Medlin.
Oh, my bad. Hey, Brian, my bad. And Brian also helped us get here, man. So who else am I forgetting, Chris, man? There's somebody else coming here and help us, man.
I think I got some kinfolk that might smack you.
Oh, yeah. Red, my girl Red, man. You got to get back on the network, Red. You've been gone long enough, man. It's time. Come on now. Cook me something, man. I need something. But, hey, let's get on. Let's dig right on in, Shawn and Keith, man, because I don't know how – I know you did a show this morning, Shawn, so you might not be as tied in as Keith and I are on Twitter right now. But, oh, boy, did Jared Payton set a bomb. He just lit a –
He dropped one, didn't he?
Late last night. It started late last night, man. Everybody, all the Caleb fans started to try to find ways to twist the narrative, spin it. in the way that might favor them. So look at here's what it says here. Join us on WGN News all day for my exclusive interview with Kevin Warren to discuss everything the new stadium to Ryan Poles' crucial decision in this year's draft. Catch a glimpse of his insights on Justin Fields in this clip. And so what Chris is about to do is he's going to play you a little 19-second segment of it. And this is just basically what he said out loud what he probably should have kept to himself.
Justin has a rare combination of intelligence, of size, of strength, and speed. You forget how big of a man he is until you're up on him. He's not a small man. And so I just think every year he's going to continually get better. So I'm glad he's on the Chicago Bears.
Oh, so before anybody responds to that, thank you. Who said
WGN and Jarrett Payton.
Thank you, Jason. Jason, for reminding me. Coach Mike as well. That's right. Coach Mike just recently joined the network, and he's going to be a regular member of the shows too. So shout out to Coach Mike for jumping in here with us, man. But yeah, what'd you just say, Chris?
No, I said let's not forget to shout out to WGN and Jarrett Payton, man.
Oh yeah, super duper big shout out to Jarrett Payton for the great interview he got out in Vegas with Kevin Warren, man. And there's something going on with, I don't know, something about people with check marks and being verified, and people are saying on Twitter that you're stealing people's content, and all kinds of crazy stuff. But I don't know what that's all about. I'm not that read in about who stuff not to share and retweet. I don't know what's going on.
You could do it, bro. You just got to give credit.
Just give him credit.
Like, you know what I mean? Like visual. Like if you see from my show, I'll put it at the bottom whenever I'm going. Obviously, I know what clips I'm going to play beforehand. So I'll make a little banner and I'll say video courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago when I'm doing Bulls and Hawks clips and stuff like that. So that's all you got to do. And just show, so video courtesy. I did one with Coach T today. I used one of his clips from his interview with Quincy, the quarterback coach for Justin. I was like, video courtesy of Chicago Bears 360 with Coach T Pod. Just give credit is all people want. Is all you need to do.
But you know what, though, Shawn? See, that because you're part of the podcast world and everything. But just a general fan that is supporting his quarterback and put that he just took a little snippet and put it out there, and somebody else who's part of the podcast world got a little upset and feathers got ruffled because he felt like something was being stolen. It wasn't no intellectual property or anything like that. I mean, come on, man. I mean, but I definitely understand what you're saying.
No, it's not that
giving the credit.
It wasn't
I get that piece.
What the issue was that those guys have gone at it. Those two, I know who we're talking about. They've gone at it before, and they've told them like, hey, don't you don't got to be a d-bag and be you're not the gate thing. But once they inform you like, hey, just give people credit, you know what I mean? Then you shouldn't have to tell someone else again. You know what I mean? Like I get this dude wants to get likes and everything. Cool, I get it. Cool, and I believe I'm the first one. I use clips all the time, but just give credit is all they're asking. You know what I mean? And again, you don't need it. After you tell someone once, it's not your job. You're not the gatekeeper. You don't have to do that.
No, I understand. I didn't know that there's been some.
Yeah, they've done. There's history with those guys. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So, but now, we all know. You know what I mean? And other people who are in podcast world, just create a little banner saying video courtesy of whoever, and boom, put it on. That's it.
That's probably what I'm gonna have to do because I was unaware of any of that. I got up and I was looking. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
If you ever notice, watch ESPN or watch they'll put all the credits at the end. The credits of when the newscast is over, they'll put all the NBC Sports Chicago, NBC Bay West, Bay Area. You know what I mean? They'll put all those credits in the back. You know what I mean? At the end of the show. I just like to do it here when I do my shows. And, we could start doing that moving forward because then nobody says anything. Because if they're watching it, they see it here. Video courtesy of, and that's just one less thing that you got to deal with. It's, you know what I mean? What I say in coaching, if you take care of little things, there are no big things. So no one can come at you and say, well, now Nomad's stealing stuff. And, that's it. We don't even want to deal with this stuff that's so far beneath us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's something you ain't got to deal with. We put it up, and you can't say nothing. And now they got to attack something else that's, you know what I mean? So take care of the little things. There are no big things.
So
J2K, you're right on that, brother.
okay,
All the
let's do-
Jericho's in the house. Yeah, baby.
let's put the comment up. He said this is the most elaborate smoke
Oh, yeah.
screen I've ever seen. If that is a fact in the case, head coaches, players, President Kevin Warren are all lying to us. I think not. So before we get into that, man, the only reason you guys are, we're gonna dig all the way into this in just a second. The only reason you guys aren't seeing super chats is because I had to go to YouTube and read the bylaws and the terms and conditions. There's a couple other hurdles to jump. It's nothing. We got everything we need as far as you guys supporting getting us where we need to be qualified. Now you have to apply, then you have to set up an account and do all that kind of stuff, and then they have to approve it. So just be patient here, and hopefully in the next few days or so we'll get that up and running so you guys can donate as you please. But let's just go right on into it, man. Because that whole thing about this, I just can't understand why people in their virtue, they can't get past their own virtues. I don't know how in rational people's minds, it's pretty clear. I mean, if you read the tweet that I made earlier today, I said in the 80s with the Bears and in the 90s with the Cowboys, there's precedent. There's precedent, proven fact that you could use high draft picks, whether it's a 1 or 2, whatever the early picks are, and how valuable that pick is as a precedent to build a champion. Think about, Chris, let me shut up about it. Just tell me everything that the Bears did in the 80s.
They won. Make me happy.
How did that happen, though?
Well, Jerry Venisi.
81.
Yeah.
Van Horn.
Yeah. Jerry Venisi and, oh, God, who was the GM's name? Sean, help me. Jerry Venisi later in that
Junior
decade.
knows.
Oh God, what is his name? I can't think of it. Anyway, he was the mastermind behind it, and they gathered all those picks. And what was it, 81, Sean?
81's when they started, when they got Keith Van Horn.
Yep. And
83 was
Jim Finks. There
one.
you go. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Brian. It was Jim Finks.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Jim Finks. And they were the masterminds behind it. And, hey, we won. And it was something I wasn't used to because I grew up late 60s and all 70s, man. And I wasn't used to it. I had saw one playoff team. Yeah. I saw one playoff team in 77, maybe. No, it was two playoff teams. Because Pardee took them in mid-70s, and then Neil Armstrong, the famous astronaut, took them later. So they might have went 2 or 3 times before Ditka got there. But, man, I wasn't used to consistent success. And, hey, that's what happened. I just hate Buddy left, man. If Buddy hadn't left, we'd have probably had 4 Super Bowls.
I was just going to say that, Chris. I think, and I'm not as tied into all of that and what was going on with the GM and the movements of the team at the time as much as Chris and some of these other guys are. But it's my understanding that minus some general manager error, some of the things that were going on, some mistakes were made, probably would have got, like Chris said, multiple championships out of that one draft that created that monster. So when I'm
there was some ego involved too, man.
That's what killed it.
Between the coaches, there was some ego involved. That and you had one side of the ball that was going to support their coach versus the other side of the ball. So I mean, there was a lot involved in it, but the main key, which is what I know you're trying to allude to, Nomad, is the fact that they actually built that team through the draft and when they got key free agents to really get them over the top. They didn't try to build it just with free agents, so I know what you're alluding to.
Well, that team was built almost exclusively with draft picks.
Yeah,
free agency wasn't even a thing then.
You're right. Correct. Correction on my part.
And 83 was the year when they got a huge part of it. And then, and here, coaching matters. Buddy Ryan left. All right, and let's not forget, and after Todd Bell and Al Harris sat out the 85 season with a contract dispute.
And they were starters.
Yes, they were. And so imagine them coming back in 86. All right, but then, you lose Buddy Ryan and you lose,
Hey, Sean.
And where did Al Harris end up in Philly with Buddy Ryan?
Buddy Ryan, yeah.
hold on 1 second, Shawn, because I know you'll love to address this, man. You know this. This is the scrolls. He's saying you can't build a dynasty without an elite QB. I beg to differ with that. I don't. Matter of fact, I know better than that. Based on precedent, man. There's been so many quarterbacks. Just one that comes to my mind that always comes to my mind when someone makes a comment like that is Trent Dilfer with the Ravens. When I think maybe the last time they won a championship. But go ahead, man. You can attack that.
Yeah. You know what? First of all, Tom Brady wasn't elite at all for the first 5 or 7 years of his career. Let's call a spade a spade. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. All right. He won it with his defense. With that defense was the biggest thing. He was a game manager. Okay. Secondly, Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw was not elite. All right, back in the 70s. All right, he had a thing called that defense.
Steel curtain.
The steel curtain was unbelievable.
There's another one.
Yeah, I was just going to say Brad Johnson with the Buccaneers.
No. He said a dynasty. So 1 year is not necessarily a dynasty. So we're talking. I'm talking about a quarterback who won 4 Super Bowls, and I'm talking Terry Bradshaw. All right, Terry Bradshaw won 4 Super Bowls with the Steelers. It wasn't because of Terry Bradshaw. All right, it was because of that defense. There's a way you can win it, and that's not saying, and you got to understand, Mahomes is an anomaly. He is a franchise quarterback. He is a game changer. He is that dude. Okay, but you can still win with a team that is fundamentally sound, a team that is, okay, I hear you. Scrolls like completely different NFL at the time. Okay. So everything you say you're going to rebut, and that's cool. But I'm showing you stuff. You're saying you can't, and I'm telling you why you can't. So you know what? You need a. I'm not saying you need a bum. No, you can do it with a bum. Oh, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying you can do it with an above average to really good or great quarterback. It doesn't have to be a legendary quarterback to have a dynasty.
I'd settle for one right now.
Well,
dynasties later. Let's just get one, and let's just be competitive. Let's win. Let's win the division.
Well,
that's what I want.
Well, let's look at it like this. Scrolls is talking about elite quarterbacks. Dan Marino was considered elite. He didn't win one.
Not a one.
Period. So if we want to talk about elite quarterback versus quarterbacks who have won Super Bowls, give me an elite quarterback. Considered an elite quarterback at the time that they started winning Super Bowls. There's not many. If you want to talk about Brady became more elite, say, on the back half of his championships. Those first 3, not at all. It was defense and game management, period.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And you know what? That's fine. You can sit there and try and refute everything, but it's, that's those things there. If you're depending on the age, Bradshaw didn't win it. Tom Brady wasn't the key part of that. And let's not get it twisted. The Kansas City Chiefs, you act like Mahomes came in and the Kansas City Chiefs sucked. You act like Mahomes came in and all of a sudden because he came in they started winning Super Bowls. Nah, homie. All right, let's look at the records prior to. All right, let's look at the records before Mahomes became the starter. They were 11-5, 9-7, 11-5, 12-4, 10-6. So don't tell me he's the reason they won it. He might have been the final piece, but you don't go 11-5, 9-7, 11-5, 12-4, 10-6 without having a good team to begin with. Okay, so that's not as much as good as Patrick Mahomes was. Okay, he had help. Let's not get into it. He didn't do it, and you saw when his help was down. All right, he got his ass kicked in the Super Bowl because they couldn't stop Tampa Bay. So we're talking roster construction. Patrick Mahomes came in. He came in with a team that was averaging double-digit wins. He didn't take a 1-15 team like Troy Aikman did. And Troy Aikman wasn't elite either. He's another quarterback who won 3 Super Bowls. He wasn't elite either. He just made key plays at the time. He had a guy named Emmitt Smith who turned out to be pretty good. He had another guy named Michael Irvin. He had another guy named Alvin Harper for a short time before he went to free agency. And he had Novacek. And not to mention a phenomenal defense as well. So let's not get it twisted and say that's the only thing you need, Bubba. It helps, but it's not a prerequisite.
So here's my thing, the Scrolls. We don't mean to be adversarial towards you, but when you make you make a comment, and to me, it feels like, I'm just going to tell you how I feel about when I see people in here twisting and turning themselves into pretzels, trying to make true what they want to believe. And that's what it feels like to me. It's like you want to make something true because that's what you want to believe. And when people refute it, it's not that we're trying to attack you or anything. I just want you to know, thank you for being here and thank you for the support. But if somebody hits you with, real facts and data about exactly what was, I mean, it's hard to it's kind of hard to refute that, man. I mean, there's been quarterback after quarterback that have won. I never saw Eli Manning as elite. I don't give a damn if he goes in the Hall of Fame. And I will never believe Eli Manning was an elite quarterback. I think he was a very good quarterback in big games.
He'll tell you that himself.
Yeah, so it's not like you can't, like, I think what he's trying to get at is, he thinks Justin is pretty regular at best. And there's no way you can win a championship with what he considers to be a regular guy. I think he's wrong on two levels. Number one, he's not regular. And number two, you can win with somebody that you think is average.
Wait a minute, Nomad. Listen. First and foremost, we're gonna cut out the term regular period, because you can't be a regular quarterback and you're playing in the NFL.
That's
First
true.
and foremost, you got to have some level of talent to even be there. Now, there are levels to it within the NFL, but in order to just be there, you're not just a regular dude, because regular quarterbacks every day ain't just making it to the NFL. So we're going to dispel that first and foremost. Are there levels to it? Absolutely. So, because if that's the case, then Scrolls and everybody else could go and walk on a team and make a squad. We know that's not possible. Okay? So we're going to dispel that first and foremost. And we're going to give these guys that are playing on Sundays their just due, because them guys are getting those guys are getting those salaries, and they're putting in the work, and they didn't just get there by not putting in the work first and foremost.
But let's not forget, someone else put it in there. Look at that defense, man. Spagnuolo. All right. Defense and special teams. This is why it's a complete game. You don't block. There's one play that changed that whole game. You block that extra point block, game, period. All right. So stop with the, that it's necessary. And I get it. It's easy to say, well, you need a phenomenal quarterback to win a Super Bowl, because you watched a phenomenal quarterback win back-to-back Super Bowls. I get it. All right. I get it.
Hey.
All right? But it doesn't mean that's the only way you can win it. I'm telling you, that defense almost won the game for Kansas City by themselves. And that's a big thanks to Spagnuolo. That's a big thanks to that defensive squad. They were dialed in. He had them ready. Okay. They really, San Fran really couldn't get off. And San Fran was one of the most talent. They had the number one offense in the NFL. So your deal, let's not act like everything's Patrick Mahomes. This is the most interdependent sport. You need everybody. Okay. And the fact that the defense was able to do that a lot, they kept it close, man.
Hey, do me a favor. Hold on for a second, Keith. Chris, if you can find that the Scrolls last comment I just start. Oh, here, I got it. Let me address this, man. Because
because I sure got something I got to get off my chest.
All right, hang on one second. Damn, Chris, if you can find that, it got away from me. I don't know how to retrieve it, but I'm gonna address something that he said in that comment, and it's pretty much, I don't know, where is Chris still there? Okay, here it is. This is the Scrolls. He said, and Caleb is a different level, and as a Bears fan, I want what's best for my team. Justin is young, rich, and will be fine. The part that you said, I want what's best for my team.
There's two things.
Why do you think when good sound and reasoning in your mind would you think that one particular player, I don't give a damn how good he is, in a draft that has this much opportunity and the opportunity for draft capital with a team sitting in this position, why in God's name would you think that one player is more valuable than multiple draft picks when you're building a team? They're rebuilding a roster. Why do you think that one player is above and beyond reproach? We got to have that guy no matter what. How does that make sense with a team that's trying to build a roster and trying to build a champion? Explain that to me. But anybody can take off from there.
Hey, and here's another thing. You want to keep it a buck. What you're doing is you're projecting what Caleb will do. All right, you're projecting what Caleb will do, and he hasn't even thrown a pass. All the tape that you've seen and whatever you've done, all the tape you've seen is against college. All right, let's not forget he played Utah State. He played a couple other things. He hasn't been able to win the big, So you guys are projecting what he's going to do. All right, then you show up against the big guy in the big games, the UCLAs, the Oregons, the Washingtons,
the Notre Dame.
Guy is generational. If this guy is generational, then what you say, then you mean to tell me because he's generational, he couldn't win one of those big games? No. Okay. So you're willing to project what he's going to do in the NFL when he hasn't taken an NFL pass or thrown an NFL pass, but you're not willing to project with Justin what Justin can do when he gets a coach who can maximize his talents. We finally got an offensive coordinator. We finally got a staff that can maximize Justin's talents because he's maximized other quarterbacks' talents who have similar skill sets to Justin. So you're willing to project what Caleb can do, but not willing to project what Justin can do. So you can't have it both ways. If you're willing to say, hey, Caleb is going to go with this guy, this new guy. Again, remember, everything he's done is in college. Everything he's done is in college. He's not playing against walk-ons. He's not playing against, bottom feeder of the Pac-12. He's not. All right, this is the NFL. This is the best of the best of the best. And we've already seen Justin be successful, inconsistently successful. And that I will give you. He's been inconsistent, but that's coaching. That part is coaching. And again, so if you want to project what Caleb's going to do, then you have to project what Justin can do when you've seen him make throws. You name me one throw he hasn't made. You name me one throw he has not made for a touchdown. You can't. And I'm talking in the NFL against NFL players. You can't do it.
Thank you. That's the key right there. That's the key right there. NFL versus college.
I was going to have Brian put that comment back up by where'd it go? I lost it now. J2K, the Trevor Lawrence comment.
He might not be able to retrieve it.
Yeah, he can retrieve it because you know what? And give me just a second.
Here it is.
There it is. Trevor Lawrence's statistics the last two seasons are actually below Justin's, and he was the number one pick. I haven't heard anybody talking about getting rid of Trevor Lawrence, and he was the number one pick.
I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone.
That's all I wanted to point out.
It's just selective. You want to selectively be outraged about one player and not the other. You know what I mean? And that's the whole problem with I got it. Like if Justin's got to get all this criticism that some of these people deem to be fair, and some of it is. But then where's that energy at when talking about some of these other guys that, go ahead, Keith, man.
Well, let's talk about this real quick. Since we're talking about one player versus 11 guys that's on the field that each got to do their job in order for a play to even be successful. And I'm going to take you back to that last drive for San Francisco. Had everybody did their job and they made their blocks, they could have won that game. But because a couple guys missed their blocking assignments, that's why Purdy got pressured and had to throw that ball sooner than he wanted to, and he missed his receiver. Mm-hmm. And he actually missed two receivers because he had one coming on the cross in the middle of the end zone. He missed him as well because of that pressure. But if you don't do your job, and there's 11 guys. First of all, there's 3 levels in order to win a game. All right, and then you got special teams, defense, and offense. But if you're on offense and you're missing your assignment, 9 times out of 10, unless you have a phenomenal athlete at the quarterback position that can go off script to make something happen, which Justin can do. And I'm not saying that Caleb can't, but we're talking about professional right now. We're talking about in the NFL. Justin has proven that he is capable of doing it, and he's done it more than once, versus we don't know what this young man can do right now. He's in college, and when you're in college, you are a prospect until you reach the NFL. So again, I get it. You can like who you like, but we're going to give the credit where the credit is due. And again, yeah, I got my shirt on. We know who I'm repping, but I'm gonna keep it real. We're gonna give Caleb his flowers for what he's accomplished so far in college. But the one game that stands out to me the most is how Notre Dame smacked them.
Smacked them up good.
Smacked them, and it showed me something. And from that game forward to the end of the season, it did not seem like he recovered mentally, which brings question to me about what he can do in the NFL. I get it, he got the arm talent and all, but I'm more concerned about this right here. Does he have it up here to be able to deal with the rigor of the NFL day in and day out?
Okay, real quick, man. I mean, I remember what he said. The scroll said, "Why is it okay to bash Darnell Mooney after one bad year?" I guess we turned this show into a Q&A. But why is it okay for everybody to bash Darnell Mooney after one bad year? And then Justin, he's trying to say, and then not bash Justin after 3 bad years. I think is equivalent to what he was trying to say there. Number one, you'll never hear me bash Darnell Mooney.
I'm not bashing Mooney.
Number one.
Number two, Mooney back.
And number two, you think when you take things into context, it's just not as easy the scrolls as pulling out a list of stats and say, look at that, that's bad. This is bad. This isn't right. As compared to some other people and their stats. Every stat has a story to it. Every single stat. It's not a one-man game. It's a 22-man, 50-something man roster, and everybody, it has to click. Things have to work. Do you obfuscate Justin for his mistakes? Hell no. I'll criticize Justin any day of the week. But it's just difficult looking at people trying to get their point across using a stat, not really knowing the whole damn story as to why the stuff looks like that. You know, that's as a ex-football player and knowing how deep it goes and how much execution is everything. Like all 11 guys have to execute that stuff damn near perfectly for it to come off the way it needs to come off. That's just one play. And you got to do that multiple times during the game. And then it's just unfair to look at a stat box and say, oh, that's a bad player because he didn't do this. Man, that's almost idiotic, man. Because you got to understand there are layers to it. And just because you want to make a point about something and you want to drive home a narrative, that doesn't really necessarily help your argument because it just makes you look like you don't know very much.
Right.
And I'm not saying that about you, Scrolls, but every time you do that, it makes one who really knows what goes on that field, it makes them wonder, do you really know what you're looking at? Or you just want to run off with a narrative? And excuse me for getting a little frustrated about it, but that's just the way I get when it gets to this.
No, that's okay, brother. You know what we're going to do and what we're not going to do is allow somebody to take us off track of what our show is about today. Let's get on track, man. Let's get on track. Let's do what we're supposed to do. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about.
All right, let me get to the next. And you know what? Before we get to that, Chris, if you don't mind doing a quick station ID, because we probably should have did that at 30 minutes. Please.
The best Chicago Bears content anywhere. Catch Nomad live pregame 1 hour prior to kickoff and Nomad at night postgame. And every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central on all the most popular streaming platforms. And only on the Nomad Network.
Thank you guys for everything one more time. I appreciate everybody. So if you're here and you're here for the first time, please do us a favor and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because it is certainly helping us, pushing us forward, man. Hit the share button. Share the content with people. And hit that notification bell as well. That's very important, but make sure you're sharing it and getting it out there. I'm still on Twitter at Nomad Networking, and there's still tons of people following me that don't know we have a network that does Bears content. So that will really help you guys. That'll help us out in a big way for you guys to share the show sometimes. Hopefully I'm not going to be the only one on Twitter, Keith and other people that are part of the network sharing the shows, man. We just need to put it out there, take it to Facebook, take it to all the app sites and just get the content out there for us. We'd really appreciate it.
Yes,
hey, Nomad, I wanted to say this was probably a timely podcast today because the Chicago Tribune put out a very, very strong article, and it's a combined effort with Brad Biggs, Colin Kane, and your favorite Dan Wiederer.
Go
And
figure.
Chicken Little.
Oh man, they just put out one today, so they're hitting you from 3 different angles. I'm not going to touch on it. I just thought I'd let you know this is some good anti-venom today.
It
I call them
shows you.
Chicken Littles, bro.
It shows you where the intention is.
Yeah.
That's a key word right there. That's the key
Yeah.
word, and is the reason why we're doing this show right now with that subject matter. It's the key word. Intention is the key word. What are they attempting to do? They're not chasing the story. They're not being journalists and uncovering details and pulling, turning over rocks to find out stuff that somebody may or may not have known. They're not even attempting to do journalism. No, they're virtue signaling and getting together as a collective and trying to sling arrows at Ryan Poles until he gives.
Oh, what they call themselves doing is they're gonna bully the GM and the assistant GM to do what they want. Now they can care less about the fan base. It's about them. And that's why I'm glad I partnered with you guys, because as I mentioned when we first started talking about this, no man, we're not going for that. We're for the fans, and we know what the majority of the fans, and I say is greater than 80% of the fans, who they want and what they want to see on the field. So if them guys don't like it, then they might have to decide to go and start writing for another.
I've been said, Weirder, you need
to go, bro.
Take your ass back to Tobacco Road where you was reporting that before you got here. Go on back down there, because you apparently do not like Chicago. You hate the fan base because we don't hate the organization like you do. You ain't happy here. Take your ass back to Tobacco Road. Get on up out of here, because I'm tired of them.
It's they like to sell doom, and that's the problem. They cater to the people, and this is what's awesome. They cater to people because they got newspapers to sell, they got clicks to get. I get it, but it's not always just doom and gloom, all right? Because you get people. You got to remember, you're dealing with the average Joe. You're talking to a guy who works at a factory, works in an office, works here, works there, and when they see something they don't like, sometimes they're jealous because that they couldn't make it in the NFL, or they don't, you know what I mean? So when you say, wow, these spoiled athletes are this, like, yeah, of course they are, of course, and you don't truly get the thing. Why not have a positive outlook on your team? All right. Again, when they're progressing, and here's the thing that people say that I'm going to tell, like what I said to the gentleman before, like everyone is projecting what Caleb will do. Okay. Everyone's projecting. He does this. He does this. He does this. Okay, that's in college. Okay, let's look at what Justin's done in the pros. Let's look at how he's moved defenders. Let's look how he's hit people in the zone in between 3 people. Let's look how he's dropped a dime to another wide receiver over his outside shoulder. Let's look how he's rolled left and thrown right. Let's look how he's thrown over a jumping linebacker, a little humpback line drive to get it to the receiver. All these things we've seen. We just haven't seen it consistently. So it's frustrating to listen to people and to see people write stuff and like, well, he's just horrible. No, he's not horrible. He needs coaching. Again, we just got done talking about Spagnuolo. What a great job the defensive guys did. All right, on Kansas City. All right, we talk about Andy Reid. Oh my God, Andy Reid is this. Andy Reid is that. All this is coaching. You're right. All we can do is project. You're right, Scrolls. So then project what Justin Fields can with a quality coach, with one who maximizes it. Don't just not talk about that projection and talk about your projection for the guy that you like, or for the guy that other people are trying to prop up due to their specific use of clips and plays and to show people, to manipulate people. Look at everything. If you want to use projection, then let's project, because I'm projecting a guy who we've seen make plays with his legs and his arm in the NFL, not just in college.
Hey, did anybody see the interview with Sam Acho? Sam Acho is basically echoing the same thing in terms of, hey, I'm not quite sure. And Sam Acho covers college on Saturdays. And he's like, hey, I've seen a lot of college games, especially what Mr. Caleb has played. And I'm not quite sure whether or not his game is going to translate at the NFL level. So that's coming from somebody, again, who has played in the league, who covers college sports on a regular. He's not saying that he isn't a great talent. He's just saying he has concerns as to whether or not his game will be able to translate to the NFL level. And as we've been saying it also, we're not trying to dispel this young man's talent at all. We're just talking about what we have seen thus far on the NFL level with minimal to work with. Now, let's give that same guy an opportunity. Let's not ship him out now that we've gotten everything. We got seem to have all the pieces in place for him to be successful and say, okay, well, you know what? Thanks a lot, but we're going to kick you up out of here. And we're going to, if that's what Poles chooses to do because he just wants his quarterback, then, so be it. And that's his prerogative. But if we're going to be fair to the guy who's been the whipping board for the past 3 seasons, and let's give him an opportunity with some real coaching, some real schemes, and some more additional help to be able to move forward. And I think we'll see a much better product on the field.
And really quickly, man, and let's round this conversation this way, man, because I had no idea that Biggs, Wiederer, and whoever else that guy was that Chris said got together for that article. But it leads me to this point I'm about to make. I'm about to quote Kevin Warren, and I think they saw that as a shot. It's like, hey, we got to go at this a little harder. He just So here's the quote. Here's a quote from that interview. We don't have the clip for it, but I have the quote in my hand, and this is why Brad Biggs and Wiederer did that article. They're afraid that they're not going to get their virtues answered. Here's the quote. This is per Kevin Warren. If we replicate back-to-back years and be really smart about our draft capital, it could be a really special time for the Chicago Bears. Very cryptic, but not very cryptic at all. That statement, what he said was, what do you think it is, Keith? And we'll just go around. You interpret it yourself.
When I heard that last night, and for me, I watched it twice to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I didn't want to interpret what I wanted to interpret. I wanted to go off of what he said. First of all, I'm real big on body language. When he made that statement, he was stern when he made that statement. And basically what he's saying is, we acknowledge that we haven't given our guy everything, but we truly believe over the past 2 years, what we've done in the draft, if we can duplicate that again and surround that around our guy, we can have a really special team here, not just for next season, but for the seasons to come. That's what I interpreted from it.
Okay, Shawn, what did you take from it? I can read it again if need be.
Please do.
I will read this again verbatim. This is Kevin Warren in his interview with our guy Jared Payton. And shout out again to Jared Payton for a great interview, man. Here's Kevin Warren. Quote, if we replicate back-to-back years and be really smart about our draft capital, it could be a really special time for the Chicago Bears, end quote. Shawn?
Because he understands, and here's the thing, and I've been when we first got Justin Fields, okay, when we first got Justin Fields, I exhaled because we knew we found our franchise quarterback. Okay, never deviated from it. I've never said he was a perfect quarterback. I never said he was the best quarterback to ever come out of college. I never said he was the best quarterback since the invention of the forward pass. I never said he was the best quarterback since whoever. I said we had our franchise quarterback. Okay. And the thing you should do with a franchise quarterback is to develop him. How do you develop him? Well, one, you develop the actual player first. But two, you give things around him. And by things around him, I don't mean necessarily just mean wide receivers. I mean coaches. That's first and foremost. And people don't understand how far back Justin is because of the lack of coaching. But you need coaches, and we finally got coaches now. But you also build them a defense. You also build great team. You show me one Super Bowl team that won that didn't have at least a decent defense. That defense kept Kansas City in the game. This year's defense was the reason Kansas City won that Super Bowl. Not Patrick Mahomes. He was a big part of it, but that defense was the reason they won that particular game, holding San Francisco to the NFL's number one offense to field goals when they're consistently scoring touchdowns. That's people stop talking. So you build up the defense, which they've done a really good job of. One or two more pieces, man, and we are set. I said it on this show, I think, but I also said it on my show. You give me one, you get that 3 tech in that trade from off of number one, or you get an edge rusher in that trade off of number one, or you get 3 tech and then draft the edge and the safety, dude, we're set. We have a Super Bowl ready defense. Now the Super Bowl, I should say, they need 1 year to get together and play. Man, now that helps your team. So he's looking at, let's get more around it, because what you're trying to do, and here's the thing that people are not getting. If Justin goes down, you want to be able to have somebody else in there who benefits from it. We don't want the quarterback to have to be the only person to make plays, because this is the NFL. This is not for long. You can be out for a specific time, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, wrong time of the year. You got hurt in the divisional game, and now you're going to the NFC Championship game without your quarterback. They want to have someone who can step in and say the rest of the team can help. And that's what he's doing. He's building up a team. Yes, do we want a generation? Do we want the next Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes? Hell yeah. But that's not the only way you can win. And what Kevin Warren, I don't know if he slipped up, man. He could have, because he's too much of a politician for me. Okay? But what he said is, if we have this again, and maybe he did, maybe he's trying to sell people, okay? And if it comes to fruition, that means they're trading the number one pick, and they're getting a haul. And you think of what that can be. Trade 1 to 2, and then 2 to 5, 2 to 7. You realize you're going to have 2 first-round picks in 24, 25, 26, maybe even 27. And we talked about it the other day. How much better do you want to build a team? How much better can you build a team than with 2 first-round picks for the next 3 or 4 years?
Man.
Listen, man. Listen. I'm going to tell you like this, man. Whenever I think about scenario like this, and this is a team that won multiple rings because of it, because of one pick, one player, one actual player that retrieved a whole. Basically, they built a championship team for Jimmy Johnson by way of Herschel Walker. Yep. So just 18 players total. Yes, just to show you how valuable a pick or a player can be. They are wise to make sure that they know exactly how much they know that this pick is going to be worth. And no general manager in his right mind, Caleb Williams is a hell of a talent. He's a hell of an arm talent. But the rest of him is a whole lot to be desired. Number one. Number two, I don't care how good Caleb Williams is. If the bounty is greater than the sum of the parts that you have in front of you, man, you gotta they will build this championship roster for Ryan Poles. Brian Poles don't have to do nothing. They'll build it for him. And so you get so wrapped up in wanting to believe that this is the savior for the franchise. There's no one player, and even Marvin Harrison included, there's no one player in this draft that's going to turn around a franchise and give them a Super Bowl. Not a one. It's going to be multiple players at different positions that is going to do that. And so it's just silly to think one player, I don't care how special you think his arm talent is, and it's just arm talent that you're looking at. You're captivated by the highlights is what you are. But when you look at the body of the work and look at the competition that he faced, and you look at, and this is not me bringing Caleb Williams down, it's just me being dead honest with you about what I saw for the last 2 years studying him. He is going to have a hard time in the NFL right away. And so it's not, if you brought him back here, you're starting everything over. You brought him here, you're starting everything over. And that's unfair to the guys that you just brought in this building, the guys that have been working towards this goal. That is just unfair to them, and they're not going to be feeling that. They will go out and play the game, but you trust and believe that they're not going to give the same intense effort. And by the way, why would a coach that was on the hot seat probably going into the offseason allow himself to be straddled with a rookie quarterback knowing his job is on the line? I would just say, you know what, you might as well fire me. I'm not doing a rookie quarterback. You basically telling me we're not going to be able to get the wins, and it's going to be reflective of my coaching. And so the coach would be a lame duck coach if they brought him in. But that's just one thing. But I just wish people would rationalize what's actually at stake and pull back from, how talented you think one player is. And just think about the kind of position this one pick can put our team in, because at the end of the day, we got to root for the Bears, guys.
Mm-hmm.
We got to root for them. And how do you get in the best position to put yourself as a championship contender? You got to get a bunch of picks, man. You got to get some blue chip guys in here, and there's no other way to do that other than in free agency and getting early first round picks. Bottom line, that's how.
Let's not get it twisted. Let's look at the Cowboys. Troy Aikman isn't a generational quarterback. All right. Hell, they even got rid of their head coach and still won a Super Bowl. That's what happens when you build a team. Remember, they got rid of Jimmy Johnson. Do you remember that, people? They got rid of Jimmy Johnson. Him and the owner got college buddies at Arkansas. College buddies, teammates. Got rid of them. And when they got rid of, even the fact that they got rid of Jimmy Johnson, they were still able to win it with Barry Switzer as the head coach because they had a team.
Yeah.
Because they had a team. You didn't have any generational players like that. Emmett was great, but he had a phenomenal offensive line. All right, Troy was able to make plays. He had a phenomenal offensive line. He had Emmitt Smith. He had Michael Irvin. He had Brent. He had Novacek. He had Alvin Harper for a minute. All right, that's a team. That right there shows you don't need a generational quarterback. Okay, and I think Justin can be one for us if unleashed, if coached properly. And if he's not generational, okay, I think he can be a great quarterback. Maybe okay, I'll even step back from generational. I think Justin could be a great quarterback if unleashed. That's all. And I just gave you a template, the Cowboys of the 90s, on how to do it. And you want to sit there and you can say it's a different game. All right. It still comes down to blocking and tackling. And when you got better guys who can penetrate, who can block, and you have better guys who can make tackles, you're going to win. You could say all you want, talk about the game, but the fundamental, the root of it is still the same.
Well,
there's a lot of people.
Before you go, guys, and it's a lot of new people in the chat today, people I haven't seen before. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the family. Do us a favor and hit the like and subscribe, man. That would really help us. Come back as often as possible, man. Your family now, whether you differ in opinion from us, man. Welcome to the show. Hit the subscribe button for us. But go ahead, Chris. We're going to wrap it up around the horn.
I was just going to say there are people that actually question Troy Aikman's career numbers and his place in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
They're probably without the 3 Super Bowls that he won, probably wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because his numbers were not Hall of Fame worthy numbers.
Do you want to shout out anybody, Chris, before we get out of here? Because we're going around the horn.
Shout out to the chat, man. Hey, again, thank you guys for liking and subscribing. We're at one goal. We're going on to the next goal. So I really appreciate everybody that comes and supports us. We hope we're giving you great content, and we think we are. Shout out to Shawn, man. Love you. Thanks for coming with us again. Keith, newest member of the team, man. You're excellent, brother. And I'm glad you're with us. And my new student in the back, Mr. Brian Hendren, I want to shout out to him. He did a great job today. So, hey, got to keep bearing down and fight the media, man.
Fight the media. That beat.
Go ahead, Keith.
No, I just want to shout out everybody that's on this, that's in the chat today. Do appreciate it. Shawn, as always, brother, Nomad, Chris, I appreciate you guys. Brian, a pleasure to meet you as well. And all I can say is this, man, in my parting words, and I just got this to say, 3 phases. There's 3 phases in order for a team to win a football game. And normally you need all three phases to do well. You can get away with one of those phases not doing as well, but offensively, everybody got to do their job. And if you don't do your job, I don't care how great the quarterback is, you're not going to win many games. So, the development part of it is key. Coaching's key. And I just think right now with the recent hires that the Chicago Bears have made, I feel that they're on the right track. We're moving in the right direction. And I think the front office they're acknowledging that and making sure that they are now they're hearing the whispers just like we hear them. And I think, I'm going to be honest, I don't think Kevin Warren slipped up at all. I really believe he and Ryan Poles have had some conversations, and they know what they're up against when it comes to the Chicago media and those talking heads that's pushing against where they want, what the direction they want to go in to try to get what they want done. And I think this is their way of kind of pushing back. And Jared Payton, shouts out to him. That was a great interview. I believe that he is also tapped in. And I don't believe in coincidences. That particular interview was dropped last night for a reason. And I just say, stay tuned, because come March, we're going to really know what these guys are going to do. On that note, I want to say thank you for supporting us again today. And as always, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe.
Go ahead, Shawn, it's you.
Guys, thanks for everybody in the chat, man. It's you guys got to jump, and even scrolls, and it's always good to have a differing opinion. All right, and because now we can debate, now we can talk. Okay, and believe me, I don't discourage, I don't run from, challenges. I don't run from a differing opinion. I don't run from someone who doesn't see the same thing as from the same point of view as mine. I don't run from, I don't, and that's fine. And I love it. I welcome it. It just leads to lively conversation, and not that I'm trying to convince you that I'm right and you're not going to convince me that you're right. But man, we could talk about it. So thanks for getting in here. Thanks for livening it up. Thanks for getting active. You know what? And that's what makes this great. All right. And, I told you, I don't lend my name, or, I don't work with people. I'm not putting a Sports Zone Chicago name. I'm not collaborating with someone that I don't trust. And I trust, and I really like these guys over here, and I love the collabo. So keep it up. Follow these guys. We're going to get these guys at 1.5 thousand subscribers. Then we're going to 2. And my platform is going to build up as well. We're all going to build up together, because we put out great content. We welcome differing opinions. We do. We really, really do. And, because we're all Bears fans. We got to remember that. We got to stop tearing each other down. All right. And just because we see things differently. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll see you mañana. Tomorrow will be a little later at 3, but see you mañana.
Well, go ahead, Brian. You want to give a shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming in. Today was my first time producing. Chris was a great teacher. I did my best putting the comments on. Keith, it's nice meeting you. You're a wonderful addition. You're perfect for the show. And just to let Armando know, when I'm producing for a couple of bucks, I can mute Shawn's mic if you want me to. SuperBack, I love you. Take care, guys, and thanks for stopping.
Yeah, my buddy Junior is he's a card, bro. He is hilarious. He's a smart aleck, and that's how we are. We're always back and forth. I have to tell you, Nomad, I'll tell you the pirate story. I know Junior just pissed his pants saying that, but I'll tell you the pirate story off air.
All right,
you're gonna piss your pants.
All right, man. Hey, look, let me tell you something. I when I tell you something, I stand behind my word. Anybody that follows me on Twitter knows this, and anybody that's a regular to the show, they know this. They know that I said that this time around, the media won't get away with running away with the narrative. No, Not as long as I have a network, not as long as I have friends like Shawn, Chris, and Keith and the rest of the guys, Brian. I'm telling you, we're not gonna let it hang. There needs to be a counterbalance. And you see them using their platforms and their weight to try to leverage what they think they can do to Ryan Poles to get the desired outcome that they want. I told you I was gonna be here to fight. And I'm not playing, man. If you want to fight, you picked the wrong dude. You want you want a real fight, fool around with Nomad too long. I'm telling you right now, I want to see that man be comfortable at his job, make the decision that he chooses, and not be swayed by people who don't want to go and do real journalism and want to be like what Junior said. They want to be part of the story instead of going to find it. They want to be part of it. It's not going to happen this year. I'm telling you right now. Poles is going to make that trade. They're going to be sick, and they're going to be in attack mode on Ryan Poles the entire season and on Justin simultaneously. You can count on that. You can believe on that, not like you believe in Jesus. I'm telling you that right now. But for the sake of time, I'm going to shut my mouth because we got to wrap the show. I'm going to just say to you guys, hey, thank you one more time. All you new people that's new to the show, I saw that Sko asked that if he liked or subscribed, would it cost him? Sko, you know what? I was the exact same person when I first got into this Bears sphere of the Bears universe. I saw like buttons and subscribe buttons. I'm like, I want to hit it, but I thought it cost me money. Hell no, it don't cost you money. It costs you nothing, man. So don't feel alone out there and thinking that you're the only one that doesn't know this stuff. No, a lot of people that come into these spaces really don't know that. It's new to a lot of people all the time, man. So no, none of that.
Go.
That's right. None of that costs money, man. Come on into the family. Hit that like and subscribe button, man. We need you. But before we get out of here, I got to leave you with these famous words. Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.